Hello and welcome to this next episode of the Global Growth Leaders podcast. My name is Simon Haigh and I'm delighted once again to be joined by my co-host Henry Wang.
Hi, Simon.
Hi.
Well, glad to see everybody here. And really, overcoming COVID has incurred unprecedented human and financial costs globally. Unlike prior economic crises, which have been caused by a financial bubble, this current health pandemic is really causing serious global economic downturn and supply chain failures. And experts have warned that this isn't just a temporary hiccup, but a warning of something more serious to come. There are countries which are calling for quick fixes and return to business as usual. However, there are other countries which have more long-term visions calling to build back better with sustainable improvements. A good example is the recent call by United Nations, World Economic Forum and the G20 and B20 to build back better post-COVID with international collaborations.
Thanks, Henry. So geopolitically, this crisis has, from a medical research perspective at least, underlined the huge value of global collaboration. We're witnessing the development and adaptation of life-saving technologies and massive research into treatments. We're experiencing perhaps not seen before, at least since the AIDS crisis of the 1980s, sharing of scientific journals, genome sequencing data and clinical trials, bringing together thousands of scientists, medics, companies, and researchers globally. To facilitate greater international collaboration and understanding, Henry and I are conducting a series of global podcasts with distinguished international thought leaders from both the West and the East. These thought leaders will be discussing key topical issues, including healthcare, youth, innovation, climate change, media, culture, and today, leadership, and more. We hope that these open exchanges of views with international thought leaders from both the West and the East should help foster greater international understanding and cooperation. And we're delighted that all episodes will be featured on all leading podcast channels, YouTube, social media, and more.
Thank you, Simon. I'm really happy to welcome Ole and Raymond to our podcast today. This is really a groundbreaking podcast with two famous futurists, so I'm really looking forward to it. And well, Raymond, let me introduce Raymond. Raymond is a famous entrepreneur from Hong Kong. He has extensive business knowledge with multinational companies such as Hewlett Packard and Saab. And now he started up his own company, Riverland and Future Now. Well, maybe Raymond, can you share with us some of your impressive career, because our listener will be very interested in your journey.
Thank you, Henry, Simon, and Ole. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I've been in the IT industry with the global companies for over 20 years. My main focus of career is on digital transformation across Asia, acting as a digital concierge to help our clients to grow in Asia. We do creative digital campaigns and influencers. And over the years, we've groomed over thousands of influencers for our customers. Have to say that all of a sudden, I came across with Rotary Club and joined them through all different services with underprivileged youth and educators. I myself learned the differences in society and a great reflection of myself. It has changed my perspective on how I see the world and how different ages, gender, races, and different culture. But one thing I believe there is a great opportunity for them to collaborate and build a sustainable world via knowledge. And therefore, about a year ago, I have another venture and I decided to build a purpose company called Future Now. It is a bite-sized knowledge influencer platform that you can equip with future skills from zero to hero in just 3 minutes time. You can learn, share your knowledge, and earn extra income and become your second career via your key knowledges.
Wow, thank you, Raymond. That's really impressive. And I'm sure this will be another big startup success like your other entrepreneurial successes. Well, you've done a huge amount of work on the key opinion leadership. I've attended and really enjoy your speeches at Rotary Club when you gave this speech. And I think this is going to be really important for the Asian market. Would you like to share with us your work on KOL, key opinion leadership, and its importance for the Asian market?
Sure. Thanks, Henry. I think one of the things that I think our audience can think of is besides the word KOL, key opinion leaders or influencers in the Asia market or in the China itself, we call them Wanghong, W-A-N-G-H-O-N-G. And you can search, let's say, in Google, in a lot of different search engine, you will find this economy is blooming. The best way to share is to share some figures. I think just by China itself, the influence economy is over 500 billion RMB, or I would say it is a 75 billion US dollar business. And China itself has the largest internet populations in the world. We have about 850 million internet users, and 99% of them are on mobile. Why is that so popular? And there's also one more fact that we should know, that 70% of the internet populations are under 40-year-old, and 45% of them are even under the age of 30. So I think China is particularly successful due to their large populations and very well established technology, 5Gs, and so that they can go online cheaper. Okay, with the Alibaba e-commerce infrastructure and its phenomenal logistics to back up the operations, the KOL, the Wanghong, the influencer economy is just blooming in Asia. That's something I would like to share with the team here.
Wow, that's really impressive, and it is a huge market. So looking ahead, Raymond, how do you see the business leader and these influencers in China and Asia seizing the initiative for change through international collaboration or with their overseas counterparts?
I would say a lot of challenge that we are facing now, the clock cannot go back. And most of the challenge, I would say, such as climate, pollutions, or trade that we are facing, cannot be solved by an individual countries. There is a Chinese saying that a crisis is also a turning point. The COVID-19 pandemic is seen as an inflection point for the digitalization and transformation of many sectors. Beyond the pandemic, business outlook, I think, is still remain very optimistic with plenty of opportunities in an example, transportation and logistics, medical services, and food tech space, despite the economy challenges at present.
Wow, that's very, very impressive. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Raymond. Thank you, Raymond. So next up, we are very honored to have a wonderful global thought leader, #1 global leading coach and author, Oleg Konovalov. Oleg, how are you?
Thank you very much, Simon. Thank you for inviting me for this great conversation. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. So maybe first up, give us an overview of you, your career, and what you do today.
Thank you. Simon, I would position myself in a simple way. I am a solution finder. I'm not a problem solver. I'm a solution finder. I look for grand solutions that allow to solve problems and look far beyond the swamp of daily worries. You know, our life is defined not by a number of problems we solved, but by solutions we found that allowed creating successful businesses, live in happy families, and create value for others. So my work identifies leaders' strategic needs and helps them to drive their companies to success. And my greatest interest is how to connect leaders, people, technologies, and vision about the future and explore the abundance of opportunities. I wrote quite a few quite good business books. And my latest book, which presents vision as a practical business tool and reveals the secrets of creating and executing a strong vision, the Vision Code, will be released by Wiley in January. It's my huge passion, and my most passion, and I have a tremendous advantage. I live between East and West, in the UK and Russia. That allows me to grasp the best of both. Thank you.
Wow, that's amazing, and I personally can't wait to read the Vision Code. I think it will, putting some sort of system around how companies create a vision. I think people will really be interested in this book. So I suppose next up, Oleg, how do you think companies today, how do they go about developing an inclusive, globally minded vision? How do you think they can do that?
Well, the question actually is tough, because we're living in a time of leadership blindness. And I will tell you why. Because most leaders are claim that they have a vision, but in truth, less than about 0.1% of leaders actually have a vision. Therefore, when COVID came, people start panicking because they don't know where to go. And modern leaders even often can't explain what vision is and how to create it, how to make it a reality. So we have a huge gap in terms of leadership development, which I see as a huge opportunity. I talk daily with leaders from Malaysia, China, India, Russia, France, UK, USA, Canada, Brazil, Portugal. And demand for compelling vision is incredible these days, because people, thanks to COVID, people quickly realize that it's not about the bottom line. It's about the future that they obliged to create for others. So we desperately need leaders at all levels, not just at the top, but at all levels, to be armed with understanding of vision as never before, because we can't talk about long-term progress. And in fact, unfortunately, we do very little about developing this inclusive, globally minded vision today. Yet, as I said, it's a huge opportunity, and we need just to explore it all together.
I agree. And Raymond said we can't turn the clock back. I think there's such opportunity for the world collaboratively to drive significant innovative projects and significant advancement. So how do you see the East and the West working better to collaborate, to bring about better leadership paradigms or visions? How do you see more cooperation?
I would answer in a strange manner. Vision is not a gift, right? Vision grows from the deepest aspirations, which become a very focused solution to a grand problem. Here we must consider that vision doesn't have nationality, it doesn't have gender, or it doesn't have a race, right? It's for all of us. Vision is about creating value for others, regardless where they are and who they are, and creating a positive future for all. It is inclusive, whether on a local or a global scale. Think from a simple perspective. Vision defines our human evolution. So it's not about East or West. This is about all of us progressing together for the good of everyone, right? And we should join forces setting common goals. Vision is not about being better than others, but about making others satisfied and happy. And therefore, it is about collaboration rather than competition, complementing each other instead of standing against each other or looking for differences. If we have a strong common vision, we would not think about competition. We will collaborate naturally, as we all will benefit from it. We all contribute to it. I will put it simply, when we cook together, we must eat together. And when we talk about the future, is no future for East or no future for West. It's a future for all of us.
That's so beautifully put. And, we're living on a small planet in a huge universe,
Absolutely.
and we need to get on. We need to collaborate for the future. So that was wonderful. Thanks, Oleg. Thank you.
No, thanks, Ole. And I like your saying, when we cook together, we eat together. That's nice. I love food. And on that point, I'd like to come to Raymond. Raymond, in follow up to what Ole say, and really looking ahead on the recovery post-COVID, what do you see as the top 2 to 3 priorities that you would advise other entrepreneur and business leaders in Asia, China, Hong Kong, that they should go forward on? Hello? Hi, Raymond.
Hi. Okay.
That's it.
Okay. I would say the top 3 priorities will be number 1, I think is very important, is to embrace SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals, in every aspect for every entrepreneur, for every corporate. It simply helps the world to run better and more sustainable. That would be the very first priority, I would say, to advise to all the companies. Second is to reimagine our workforce. I believe that there is a paradigm shift of our new economy. We will create a global workforce mismatch, especially with our AI, with our technology upcoming. There are a lot of global, I would say, the workforce crisis anytime in between now and upcoming 5 to 10 years. So one of the top priority for the corporates or for any companies, they should nurture and reskill their employees and help the employees to have continuous learning. At the end of the day, employees or help our companies to make money, to make our company better. They need to re-educate, they need to reskill, and reskill quick. There are lots of things we need to learn, so we need to learn faster. Last but not least is empathy and care. We are at the end of the day, we are humans. The world becomes faster and a lot of the virtual reality things are going on. But don't forget, we are human. We all need to have care. For any business leaders, I think this empathy and care is very important for everyone here.
I think that's very important point. I really agree with you, Raymond. And this empathy, inclusiveness, I think it's very important as we go ahead, particularly in this difficult time. Thank you very much.
I agree, and thanks, Raymond. That was profound. And so back to you, Oleg. This is a subject close to my heart. Business has generally been run by return on investment, but kind of aligning with what Raymond said there. How do you see leadership moving business from pure return on investment to more a human relationship version of return on investment?
Thank you, Simon. And thank you, Raymond. I love your definitions. And what I could add, it wouldn't be very different. Because what I see, leader's role is to define the future and lead people to it. And in this sense, we could talk first, it's about vision reflects the highest purpose of leadership, purposeful acting for and with people. And therefore, we must consider that leadership is not about ego, right? Ego kills vision instantly. So far, we have too many leaders driven by their ego and personal ambitions. But no one would be attracted by their boss ego, right? So wouldn't be no following. Second, vision cannot be created through consensus. It only can be created by strong leadership, and that's where strong leadership stand out. We're short of the leaders that really see new grounds, and thus people really prepare to follow them. That's the reason why we have very few visions. consensus comes into play when a leader has no idea where to go and instead seeks to please everyone. Crises don't create future, they don't create value, they're faceless. So we need strong leaders. And the third very important issue, actually we mentioned it, when we travel across the continents, like for instance, if I'm flying from Beijing to Amsterdam, we're facing a time lag or jet lag. Now we face a mind lag where leaders of East or West, doesn't matter, are more concerned about the past, a bit about the present, and very little about the future. So we must shift to a future-focused mentality.
Mm.
And therefore, return on investment or the bottom line is only a reflection of the past effort, but it doesn't show how we progress towards creating that bright future. That's critical.
Wow,
Thank
that's
you.
powerful. And it's interesting. I'm presenting at a conference in London in a couple of weeks about the next version of business. And I think I'm going to use some of your quotes, if you don't mind, both of you. So that was wonderful. Thank you, Oleg.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, I like what Ole say about we need to have a future-focused mentality. And on that important point, I'd like to come to Raven and say, looking forward, how do you think and how would you advise entrepreneur and business leaders in Asia and China to collaborate more with their counterparts in the West? I think this is really going to be crucial for recovery post-COVID. Raymond?
Right. I first of all I have to echo what Ole mentioned about the vision. There's basically no boundaries. It's about all of our futures. From my perspective, I see what we should do is a mindset shifting from me to we. Okay, it's very important. It's very simple. It's a me to a we. I think if we have this mindset in our brain, in our soul, and we will be more respect to each other. We should learn about the culture and the history and the strength and weakness of each of the East or West. It doesn't matter because every country has their own, every culture has their own strength and weakness. As a business leader, if we could go more in depth to understand more about each area's culture and learn to respect with each other, I think that will help a lot when the East and West collaborating better globally. In a simple word, I would say, let's not think of the business. Let's think of the food that we talk about. I believe there are a lot of great examples, like the East and West eat meat with West recipe in the world, right? If we go in online, right? So let's make the food happen. We can cook together, eat together, and have fun together. And my last word is, I believe like a more equal world is a more harmonious world. So let's make the world from me to we. That's my advice.
Wow.
Wow, thank you. That's very powerful. Thank you, Raymond.
No, it is powerful. And, talking about eating together, I'm sitting here in Ireland and I was in Wuhan about 5 years ago, and I was amazed to find a stall in a market selling Irish potatoes. It was selling potatoes from Ireland. So we all eat together. So finally, Oleg, the final question, how do you see the West learning from the East and maybe the East learning from the West in terms of leadership?
If we don't see something beautiful and unique in each other, then we can't create anything beautiful and unique that will be beneficial for all, right? So we always learn from each other. We can write a book, a huge, thick book on what we can learn from each other. In fact, think, West learns from Sun Tzu, right? And East learns from the Peter Drucker's work, right? West learns from East about mentality, which is longer than life. East learns about servant leadership. So we're always learning from each other. Actually, we just not admitting this much, but in fact we do. And I want to stress one important commonality for all of leaders of the West and leaders of the East. It is about responsibility. We are, and everything we do, are living artifacts for the next generations, right? We are responsible for the next generation, how the next generation would think, act, and live. And we're responsible for the legacy we leave and for being a model for the future generations. Think, we're a living example for them. And if we will show them how to live together, they will be much stronger. They will be visionaries, and this is quite important. It's not about us. It's about the next generation.
Wow.
And
Well,
that's quite important.
That's powerful. Yeah, no, that's powerful, Oleg. And something that I hadn't thought about before, and maybe this is a future book for you, is that, globalization obviously has had economic impacts, between the West and the East, but it's also provided for cultural interchange. So, for example, the West is using much more mindfulness and meditation that originated more from the East. And then I suppose, as you know, Raymond, a lot of technology and innovation has been adapted in the East and improved and advanced. So I think globalization has actually enhanced cultural interchange. And I think there's a book in that.
That's a very good point. I agree. We're actually all authors here.
Yeah,
That's amazing. That's a common thing we all share. And I really agree with what Ole say. In a way, I think our time on this earth is really limited. And as I live more and more, I realize that the more important thing is not what I do, but what I leave behind, the legacy, and how it may benefit others on this earth and make this earth a better place. That's why I think that's one of the reasons why we are doing this podcast.
Exactly.
It is all charity and it's all to promote international understanding and service. And I'm really great that we have leaders like Ole and Raymond here, which are very famous in their own fields and leaders in their own fields, sharing their really insightful comment for us. And I really enjoyed, and I hope our global audience who is going to be watching this will be enjoying it as much as I have and learn as much as I have, because I'm a true believer in I never stop learning. Thank you very much to you both, Ole and Raymond.
Absolutely. And I agree. And, just to repeat that it's a privilege to hear these thoughts and to hear you share. And, Henry and I set this podcast series up really to provide a little bit of inspiration and hope during some difficult times this year. And without saying too much, we have, something interesting lined up next year, hopefully to bring all our guests back together. But in the meantime, we really hope that as many people get it to tune in and listen to these, watch and listen to these chats. As I said, they'll be on all podcast channels. They'll be on YouTube, social media, and we'd ask all of us to share this as much as possible. It's about really spreading the word of the future. So for me, Henry, this is actually one of my favorite chats to date. I feel very uplifted. So thank you both very much. It was wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.